Hey everybody, it's currently Sunday, July 25th, 2010, and it's 3:38 a.m. And the reason why I'm up so late is not only because it's summer, I'm actually exporting the final version of Imaginary. So I thought I'd actually make a video update just because I'm pretty much at the finish line with Imaginary, and I thought it'd be beneficial for myself and maybe for others to make this because I feel like if I look back at this video and I'll know the experience I had making Imaginary, and just sort of it would help me to grow from that. And the reason why I think it would be beneficial for maybe others is because maybe if you've been wondering why it's taken me an entire year to do it, and maybe for other people who are actually thinking about making their own short film, they can learn from my experience and sort of my mistakes and whatnot, and sort of take that into consideration when making their film or something. So I apologize if this video is really all over the place because I'm pretty tired and I'm just waiting for Imaginary to finish exporting. And so Imaginary started in the summer of 2009. I started writing the script at the beginning of August and I finished it at the end of August. But during that time when I was writing, I went into writing knowing that writing isn't my strongest skill. I'm very much more of a visual person and I like creating the images and whatnot, and in the future I really hope to be like maybe like a writer-director or something, like very far in the future. So yeah, but it was so during the time when I was writing, I think the process with most of my stuff is that I imagine one scene in my mind and I sort of build a story around it, and the scene that I imagined was actually the last scene of this movie. So I guess building the story around that was really difficult for me because I wanted it to make sense as I was trying to make sense of it too, because I don't really know how this image came up in my head, it just did, and I really wanted to make some sort of story with it. So as I was writing Imaginary, I was fortunate enough to get help from a guy named Suraj who lives in Australia, and he goes to film school for screenwriting. And like I said, this was like the very, very first script I've ever written in any sort of format. And yeah, so I wrote the rough draft on my own. That took about 2 weeks, and then it wasn't up until after I finished that I sort of posted on forums and asked for feedback and whatnot, and he got back to me, and I started talking to him on Skype and having meetings with him, and he really helped me in terms of sculpting my vision and just the formatting of screenwriting, and I'm really thankful for that because it probably would have been a huge train wreck. I also passed my script to one of my all-time heroes, Zach Forsman of Savvy Pictures, and he was I think a pretty big influence in terms of how I was gonna do the visual aspect of Imaginary. And although he wasn't a major influence within the script, he definitely gave me a few pointers, as well as he provided me with the spider cam, which is actually a sort of Steadicam thing. And yeah, after writing the script, it wasn't up until a month or like a month and a half after. We started shooting in mid-October up until early November. And the reason why it took so long is because I had scheduling conflicts with one of the actresses. It was actually originally supposed to be my good friend Athena, who was going to play Miranda, and my friend Katie, who was going to play Katie. I ended up replacing Athena with Joy, and Joy was actually supposed to be like an EPK/assistant type thing, but in the end she just became one of the main actresses. So in the end, we had Joy as Miranda and Katie as Katie still. So shooting with them was great because they were friends of mine, and they both have acting experience, so I know that they sort of know what at least they sort of know what they're doing, as well as they both seemed really passionate about the project, and that made me really happy. I guess the only downside with having sort of friends as actors or actresses or whatnot is because for me anyways, I really psyched myself out because they were friends. I didn't want to order them around, and I didn't want to feel like I was bossing them around, just sort of that type of thing. But sometimes you have to do it, that if you're going to be a director, I guess, but you don't have to do it in a mean way, but there are times where I pulled back because I didn't want to just come off as like a total biatch, you know? So yeah, working with them was a pleasure. They were a constant source of motivation in terms of finishing the film, and just they were really pumped about it, and their excitement excited me into really finishing this project, and it made me feel like I was doing something right, at least, which was good. So that was, I guess, the emotional side of shooting, and so yeah, what I learned from that is that if you're going to be shooting a film and you want it to be serious, you can get your friends, but try to give it your all, like direct them as you would anyone else if you really want to get the project done and do it well. Don't, like I said, you don't have to be mean about it. You just have to, you know, don't worry about being awkward or anything, or sort of that type of stuff. Yeah. So another part of shooting was, because the majority of the film was outdoors, it was really, really difficult in terms of continuity, and whether it be like, you know, different color temperatures, or whether it be like, you know, just in terms of shooting different days and trying to match the days, it was hard. But yeah, the biggest thing that I've learned through shooting Imaginary, and pretty sure I'm never going to do this again, because that was just a bad idea, and I think maybe most people are bound to do this too when they're making their first short film. So the entire cast and crew of Imaginary was a total of 3 people: Joy, Katie, and myself. And of course, Joy and Katie were the cast, but occasionally I would ask Joy to help me out. But I was just doing way too much. I was trying to do camera, I was trying to direct, I was trying to do lighting, I was trying to do audio, and all that. And I mean, I think it's just because I have an interest in all those fields that I sort of wanted to get a crash course in everything, and that's why I did that. As well as I didn't want to, because it's like a pretty much a no-budget film, that I didn't want to really ask my friends and sacrifice time and make them wake up early to, you know, do kind of mundane jobs, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm never really gonna do that again, because it was just like, if I had a few extra hands, the film probably would have been a lot better. And but it was a good experience. I mean, I learned a lot about the importance of different things, and how all that put together really makes your film, like, if there's one thing that sort of fails, like, you know, it's not gonna be as good. Like, everyone has to be pulling it together. But really, the shooting experience was amazing. Like I said, I was working with 2 very good people, very passionate people that motivated me, and it was a good experience. Of course, even the downsides is something that I would still call a good experience, because I grew from it anyways, or I'm planning to grow from it. Yeah, so that concludes shooting.